There's a shot you can buy at a wellness clinic that promises to hand you your energy back. A little B12, straight into the bloodstream. Celebrities swear by it. Gas stations sell the pills right next to the register. And somewhere in America, right now, someone exhausted is paying for one, hoping this is the thing that finally makes them feel awake again. Here's the strange part. For most of those people, the science says it will do almost nothing. Not because B12 is fake. B12 is one of the most important vitamins in your body. Run genuinely low on it and you feel it. Exhausted, foggy, weak. That part is completely real. The question this episode puts on trial is narrower, and it's the one the marketing never asks out loud. What happens when you take B12 and you were never low to begin with? Because that's the actual promise being sold. Not fix a deficiency, boost your energy. Two completely different claims wearing the same label. So today, B12 for energy goes on trial. We'll hear the case for it, cross-examine the evidence, and reach a verdict, including whether it's worth $1 of your money. Let's start with why so many people are convinced it works. The belief that B12 gives you energy isn't random. It grew out of something true, and that's exactly what makes it so sticky. Here's the kernel of truth. B12 helps your body turn food into usable energy. It's needed to build red blood cells, which carry oxygen, and to keep your nerves working. When you're actually deficient, all of that starts to break down, and one of the first symptoms people notice is a deep, dragging fatigue. Correct that deficiency, and the tiredness can lift, sometimes dramatically. So people who are genuinely low take B12, feel better, and tell everyone they know. That story is real. It just quietly gets rewritten along the way from B12 fix my deficiency into B12 gives you energy. Then the marketing takes over. Energy drink cans brag about 100% of your daily B12. Clinics sell injections as a lunchtime pick-me-up. And there's a logic that sounds airtight. If being low on B12 makes you tired, then more B12 must make you less tired. More equals better. It feels obvious. Almost too simple to question. And there's one more thing working in its favour. Something we'll come back to, because it's the reason a lot of people are certain B12 worked for them, even when on paper it shouldn't have. But first, let's give the claim its strongest possible case. If B12 for energy is going to win, this is where it makes its argument. To be fair to the claim, let's build the best case we can. First, deficiency is more common than people assume, especially as you get older. In adults over 60, roughly 1 in 20 has an outright B12 deficiency, and as many as 1 in 5 sits in a low borderline range. If you're in that group and you're tired, B12 might genuinely help, and it would feel like it gave you energy, because for you, it kind of did. Second, some people are quietly at risk of running low without ever realizing it. Vegans and vegetarians, because B12 comes almost entirely from animal foods. Older adults, because the gut gets worse at absorbing it with age. People taking the diabetes medication metformin, or long-term acid-reducing drugs, both can slowly lower B12 over the years. And anyone with pernicious anemia or certain gut conditions, where absorption is broken at the source. For every one of those people, B12 isn't hype, it's the fix. And third, B12 is remarkably safe. It's water-soluble, so when you take more than you need, your body mostly just flushes the extra out. For most people, taking too much won't hurt you, so the case for B12 is genuinely strong for the right person. Hold on to that phrase, the right person, because the entire verdict is about to turn on it. Now, the cross-examination. Here's the question that decides everything. Not does B12 help deficient people, it does. It's this. Does B12 do anything for people who already have normal levels? This is where the case falls apart. Researchers have actually tested this repeatedly. In one of the largest looks at it, scientists pulled 16 randomized controlled trials, the gold standard kind, where people are randomly given either B12 or a dummy pill and nobody knows which, covering more than 6,000 people. In those without a deficiency, they found no meaningful benefit for energy, mood, or thinking. Not a small benefit, no reliable benefit at all. Other trials tell the same story. Take people with normal B12 levels who feel tired, give half of them B12 and half a placebo, and both groups tend to improve by about the same amount. And that word, placebo, is the missing piece from earlier. When someone gets a B12 shot and feels a wave of energy the next day, that feeling can be completely real and still have nothing to do with the B12. expecting to feel better, paying for it, sitting in a clinic being cared for. That alone lifts a lot of people. Your brain doesn't hand you a receipt separating the vitamin from the ritual. It just feels like it worked. So the honest reading of the evidence is blunt. If you're deficient, B12 helps. If you're not, the energy boost you're paying for is, as far as the best studies can tell, mostly a story you're telling yourself. Which leaves one practical question. Is it worth it? Let's put it through the real-world test, the one we run on everything here. If this came out of your own pocket, would it actually be worth buying? Start with cost. A B12 shot at a wellness clinic can run anywhere from $30 to a few hundred, sometimes on a subscription. Pills are cheap, a few dollars a bottle, but cheap and useless is still useless, and expensive and useless is worse. Now match that against who you are. If you're in a real risk group, vegan or vegetarian, over 60 on metformin or long-term acid reducers, or dealing with a gut condition, then B12 could be one of the highest value things in your cabinet. But here's the move the marketing skips. Don't guess. A simple blood test tells you whether you're actually low. Test. Don't assume. If you're deficient, correcting it is worth every penny. And often a cheap pill does the same job as the expensive shot. If you're not in a risk group, you eat a normal mixed diet and you're tired, B12 is very unlikely to be your answer. That fatigue is far more often about sleep, stress, activity, or something else worth actually investigating. And money spent on B12 shots is money not spent finding the real cause. So here's the verdict. B12 for energy. Overhyped, with one big exception. If you're deficient, it's genuinely effective and worth it. If you're not, the evidence says you're mostly buying a very expensive placebo. Test first, then decide. That's the verdict. If you want the studies behind this episode, they're free in the weekly verdict. The link's in the description. And you tell us, what should we put on trial next?